Well, I think that in life we always have to take sides.
But I'm talking about journalists. Do journalists always have to take
Yes,
sides?
and journalists always do take sides. You know, you've been a journalist a long time. The idea that there's something objective and impartial is just a lie. We sell it, but I can take the same set of facts. I was a newspaper reporter for a long time, and I can spin that story one way or another. We manipulate facts. That's what we do. And I think that the really great journalists...
Not necessarily to deceive, though. Some do, I know. But
right, but we do.
We choose the facts we want to organize.
Of course, it's selective, and it's what facts we choose, how we place it, where we put the quotes. And I think the really great journalists, like the great preachers, care fundamentally about truth. And truth and news are not the same thing. And the really great reporters, and I've seen them, you know, in all sorts of news organizations, are management headaches because they care about truth at the expense of their own career.
What do you mean truth as opposed to news?
Well, let's take the Israeli occupation of Gaza. You know, if I had a dinner with any Middle East correspondent who covered Gaza, none of us would have any disagreements about the Israeli behavior in Gaza, which is a collective war crime. And yet to get up and write it and say it within American society is not a career enhancer. Because there's a powerful Israeli lobby, and it's a lobby that I don't think represents Israel. It represents the right wing of Israel, and you know it. But you know, the great reporters don't care, and they're there. But you know, large institutions like the New York Times attract huge numbers of careerists, like any other large institutions, the church, of course, being no exception. And those are the people who are willing to take moral shortcuts to promote themselves within that institution. And when somebody becomes a headache, even if they may agree with them, even if they may know that they are speaking a truth, and it puts their career in jeopardy, they will push them out or silence them. So I think that one can take sides, and Orwell becomes the kind of model for this. But one can never not tell the truth. And I've often written stories that are not particularly flattering, and there's much in this book about people in Pine Ridge or Camden, you know, or that is not flattering. I mean, we're interviewing people that are drug addicts and this kind of stuff, and
drug
prostitutes
dealers.
And
yeah, drug dealers,
yeah.
Prostitutes.
So we're you know, the lie of omission is still a lie. But I don't think any foreign correspondent who covers war, whether it was in Bosnia or whether it was in Sarajevo, can be indifferent to the tremendous human suffering before them and not want that human suffering to stop.
But there is a price, as you have said, to be paid for stepping outside of the system that enabled your name and reputation and becoming a critic of that system. I mean, what price do you think you've paid?
I don't think I paid a price. I think I would have paid a price for staying in. I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. You know, I was pushed out of the New York Times because I was publicly denouncing the invasion of Iraq. And again, it comes down to that necessity to speak a truth, or at least the truth as far as you can discern it. I spent months of my life in Iraq. I know the instrument of war. I understood on many ways, in all the ways that this was going to be a disaster, including upsetting the power balance in the Middle East. It's one of the great strategic blunders of the United States. It's empowered Iran. And to remain silent would have been the price. Was it good for my career? Well, of course not, but my career was never the point. I didn't drive down Mount Igman into Sarajevo when it was being hit with 2,000 shells a day because it was good for my career. I went there because what was happening was a crime against humanity. And as a reporter, I wanted to be there to chronicle it.